there is you, there is family, there is church, there is work, there are creative expressions, there are friends, there are different responsibilities, and I've always lived my life um, in compartments, so separating it, because I thought that was the best way to cope with all the busy things.
There are other ways.
Apparently. I thought that was the best way to cope with other things. But I was having a conversation with someone who I look up to and who seems to be juggling a lot of things. And I just asked, like, how are you doing this? How are you showing up on all fronts? How is your mind not going crazy right now? And then he's like, honestly, it's a very cliche answer, but the one thing that keeps everything together is purpose. So for him, he's like, he had to break out of living life in compartments. So he's like, what is my purpose? What are my values? And I show up with that lens for everything. So for him, it's like a flow, not necessarily my work life, my church service life. And because even that church has different things, even work has different branches. Yeah? So it's like one person, one value, the same purpose across all. So that now helps him filter through things that he should leave and things that he should hold on to. So I found that very interesting. I'm still thinking and ruminating on that and saying, okay, do we want to try breaking out of compartments? Let's see how that looks like.
Can I meet this person? Because I have a lot of questions. Because my definition of compartments is absolutely different from that. But I agree with the flow that once you are able to figure out what your purpose is and what is important to you, cutting down things is quite straightforward. It's clear. If this does not align with where we are going, it has no place here. So it takes away not just the guilt, but also it just helps you with mental, psychological focus on things that are important. So yeah, I would like to meet a person. I'll see after we talk. Hi, maybe.
All right, hi everyone.
Hi, maybe.
Okay, so it's been an interesting week. So to rewind, on Friday I was made the lead on a certain part of the trading desk in my company. And since then, hold the applause because since then it has been stress.
Oh yeah. What did you think? What did you think was going to be? What did you think?
It's been very interesting. My boss is literally leaving decisions up to me. Before he does anything, he calls me and tells me, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. And, it's interesting. I've made money for my company this week, made money personally this week.
Maybe my friend.
And then I'm like, okay. But I think one area that I struggle with is keeping records. I like to do something now and know that I'm done with it, right? But lately, I've now had to sit and journal things down. And it's been very difficult because it takes time. It takes time to actually sit down, think, remember stuff. My memory is not the best, but that has been my week. Then also my phone spoiled. They told me how much to repair it. I stormed out of the place because they are not serious. Because the amount they gave me was enough to buy another phone. And I said, no, I didn't buy it. I left in anger. Well, anyway, that's been my week.
Use the money you made this week.
Buy your phone.
No.
Oh, funny story. I went to a car lot yesterday to go and price a car that I have no cover for yet. Guys, I'm going to buy an SUV. No, I don't have the money yet, by the way. We just went to see what cars are saying, so we know what we should be looking at. We need pictures for the vision, right? We need to know what we are. We need pictures for the vision. So we went to take pictures. Oh my God. So yes, I did actually go to a car lot yesterday, and I drove around cars that I would like to have. And no. I was quite clear. I was
we
dead
dey shop
to
now.
what's in the market like. Okay, if I drop this car, how much do I have to add to it? Or I don't even want to sell my car, how much do I have to drop? You know, what's the payment plan like? Just what's this car? What about this car? What's this? The interior of this one. What year is this? No, nothing beyond this particular year. We don't do that here. you know. So yeah, it was quite exciting, and I'm really working so that I do not just, because the way I am, I vexate over things that I want to do. So there's that control of, you know what, God, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with ease. I'm not going to vexate or worry about it. That money is going to drop on my lap. That job is going to come and it's going to drop on my lap. Case in point. One of my very favorite clients is in town and they want to see me and I'm uneasy because... Okay, I'll continue the story. No, not that. So it's that I'm used to having clients who trust me wholeheartedly in the sense that once we start work, I work with you for a few things, and you're like, it's MJ. MJ said so, you know, and they're not coming back to you to bother you. But there's this client who it was referred from an existing client and said, this lady is this. Never met him before. Gave him the first job. He parried for me because I was giving him too much feedbacks, and then came back after he was mad at me for dropping too many follow-up messages, and then came back and gave me higher work to do with huge sums. You've never seen me before. You drop that kind of money, whatever, anyway. You know, which I did. But this man is not the typical, not the typical man that you say, we'll get it done, we'll get back to you. No, he was like, how long is it going to take you? I said, this is okay. What date is that? He gave me the date. He said, send an email stating that this, and this will be done by this, and this. And that this will, I said, okay, sir, I've sent and he sends the money immediately. Huge sums, millions, sends immediately. And I'm like, hey, okay. No. No, that's not, that's before. That's before. I'm not giving you context as to why I am worried the man is in town. And he's this kind of person that when you give him feedback, he asks you questions. I'm not used to that. Like, everybody just takes my word for it and we move on, you know. It's very, I've not thought about it. And then in the middle of that same work I've not finished, you come back to me for another bigger project. Going to, telling me to be your GM, you know. But wait. And I'm just saying, and the man now suddenly comes into the country and he says, we should see. And I'm uneasy because, okay, not like I cannot report, not like I have a problem with, but it's been a while I've been on my toes like that. So it's good challenge, but more, and it's not a young man, say, no, these former senators, or those kind of businessmen. So yeah, I'm a bit uneasy. But we can do all things. Because we need to buy that SUV, guys, actually. Next. Who's next? Hi, Martin.
It's Martin.
Okay, yeah. Martin's the speaker. Just hold the mic. It's like, you're welcome. Shy here. No, we don't do that here. Yes. You tell us what speaks to you lately, what you've been working on, anything that jumped at you, something new you're working on, anything, just share. Share.
I'm working on rest.
That's good. Very important.
That's pressure. You're pressurizing me. I think I ended last week on a very emotional note. Someone close to me, something happened that I was hurt by. And
Um, it dragged into the week because I wasn't sure how to process and how to go forward. But I ended up over the week realizing that what happened, even though it hurt me, was an answer to a question I'd been asking. And it also sort of taught me how to actually on Sunday, PFE was preaching about forgiveness and love and all of that. It taught me how to not judge the actions of the person, but understand where they were, who they are, and where they were coming from, and their own trauma and their own issues, and just look at them from, okay, this person wasn't really trying to hurt me as much as they were just being, right? And it was helpful, and I also got the answer to the question that I had asked the Holy Spirit like some 3 months ago. So it was helpful. I've had a restful week. I've had a joyful week. I woke up singing praise songs. Like, I woke up not feeling so great, but then there were praise songs in my heart, and I just keyed into that. And I've been unable to be unhappy today. I've just really been, hey, you know, I've had a very happy day. I don't know, like every other thing pales in comparison to how happy I am today. So I've had a happy day. And I'm learning to rest. I'm learning to actively rest. I've always had to be responsible for either myself or someone or something in subtle ways, heavy ways. And now I'm just learning to actively rest and just allow God do his things. I'm also finally, aligning with doing business. Like the Holy Spirit has been saying, I'm just like, I don't do business. I can't deal with Nigerians on a business level. Like that's not my calling. But I'm learning that I'm coming to a place where I realize that, I can do it. I understand the reasons why I believed I couldn't do it and I didn't want to do it. And I've been creating proposals, business plans for 3 different businesses, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, please,
So
that's
that's it.
That's a big deal. Congratulations in. Yes. Yeah. So, as is our tradition, we'd like to hear from you. What are you working on, or what stood out for you? At least recently, what did you just notice? What gap did you notice recently that you think somebody should solve that?
Okay, so I think for me, I've been writing. So I've been writing a lot. So writing is usually my first love because that's how I always describe myself in the early days. But we had a series called Thought Therapy. And that was where it's sort of like sparked the interest to how do we take this concept of thought into a way that people can really, really start to steward their thoughts, not as something that they are, but something that they have. And more importantly, becoming more intentional with their thoughts in such a way that you use your thoughts actively as your ally.
I should go to dinner. I should probably go and get a massage. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, And I said, I checked my bank account, my expense account. I said, I can do it, but I really don't want to use this money to do it. But I was like, we're going to go to lunch. We're going to go to dinner. So I did go to dinner. And at dinner, just when I was ordering, somebody passes by and says, I know you. I said, hey. And he remembers somebody I just had a conversation. I met a random, apparently he's top somebody in Nigerian breweries. I'd attended a birthday party and just had this very deep, heated back and forth with people. And, and I think that impression stayed with him. And then he saw me randomly in a restaurant. I said, you are here. You waiting for somebody? I said, no, I'm here for dinner by myself. I said, I don't send his pay. I hope you don't mind. I've settled your bill. Dinner was paid for. So I sat down as a beauty queen that I am and had dinner. And then after dinner, I called the massage parlor and told them, please, is there space to rub my body? They said, oh, yes, absolutely, be on your way. At the gates, another one comes in and says, I've been trying to book you a massage session, but it looks like Oriki's payment gateway is not working very well. I just sent you the money. Please go and get yourself a massage. I said, oh. So therapy works. It works. I had a very lovely evening. I went to my crush without spending a kobo of mine. But yes, people, you should take advantage of these things. There's power. I know. There's power in your thought. Just this, as I said, that car we are buying it. We've gone to we're going to buy it. Yes, we're thinking about it, so it's going to come to life.
Just jump. So, I was actually saying to, I think it was Jeffrey I was talking to yesterday that I'm so sad that we live our lives in such a way that it takes when you go to the eulogies, tribute nights. Tribute nights are so poetic. Nigeria is actually very poetic. But it so happened that grief unlocks it. So you see them saying things like, I never told my dad how special he was, and it's so sad he's not here. We did that thing, letter to my dad, and most of them have lost their dads, and we're talking about him in absentia. And I'm saying, how do we live our lives to rework it in such a way that celebrating each other and loving on each other is not something we'd wait till when the time has run out? So that Marjorie doesn't have to have June to have maybe pay for her spa. Oh, yeah. So the beautiful thing is, the way she's celebrating this season and being celebrated, how about if that's the way we're meant to live every day? So that I don't need to, we must come to service every Sunday with a gift in hand. Just like, who am I blessing with? With a gift looking for a giver. With a gift looking for a gift, a receiver. Like, honestly, I really think about that. And like I said on Sunday, I want us to start rethinking words like, how are you? With no intention of knowing the answer. How about I don't know what the alternative is, but I'm still thinking about it. That we need an alternative when I say, it's not just how are you and you move on. That how do I engage you in such a way that I'm calling you forth? And I'm actually inviting you, I'm entering into your reality enough. So my new heaven and a new earth has started. This concept of how the gospel was supposed to transform the world. The gospel was never meant to leave us in this whole matrix of program. I mean, right now we're living out a program, we're not living out presence. So enough said.
Thank you. We have just 2 people left. So it's too much. So we just 2 people left. So please, you have the mic. So tell us something that stood out for you recently. Okay, there's a mic already. Thank you for giving them a mic. Oh, you're waiting for a prompt. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So we're asking you.
Okay, I got the question, yeah.
What are you working on? One, or what gaps have you noticed recently that you think somebody should fix? What's happening in your life? Any of those things, just talk to us.
So, what I've been working on and what's also working me. I think I'm working on my fashion collection, which has been a toll, and also teach a learning curve. So I have to do with guys who knows how to sew and all that to bring them alive, as well as working with them. So it's costing me time and money. So spending on materials, researching, and also trying and error and all that. So it's very hard to find people who actually have like a straight sewing line. It's very simple. I'm that detailed. So, but yeah, I'm still on the search for still getting that. But it's been interesting. The future is promising. The other thing is, I think, when was that? On Friday, I had an experience where what God was showing me was just the little things I was doing was actually counting. But at some point too, I was still not looking into those things because I was like, I need a greater move. I want to like see the effect. So I think one of it he showed me this evening was so I was speaking to my dad. So my dad, I didn't speak to him. I haven't spoken to him for like 3 days before the call. He called, and then he called me a day I was having the stories over coffee at Coffee and Co. And then he called me. I was like, okay, normally I was not supposed to pick the call. I now picked the call, and he was like, how are you? I was like, oh, Dad, can I call you back? But something just said not to say that. Just hold on, listen. So I listened, and then he was like, oh, yeah, this, how are you? How are you doing? What's going on? I said, everything's fine. I said, yeah, he had an attack today. He was BP. He just carelessly took something, and then the thing started reacting so bad, and he was collapsing here and there, and yeah, now he's fine. But like, mom was like, I was mad. Like, why did you tell or just whisper or just say something to anyone so I should be aware of what's going on? And he was like, yeah, it's fine now. He finally managed to get home. Called his doctor. They prescribed drugs for him, and he's fine now. And I was when he said that, I was like scared. I was like, that was a misbelief, like misfire, because it was very crucial because he was collapsing and no one was close by. He stays in Basel alone. So and so when he was done with the call, he was like, I almost cried, but he was just saying, "I love you, my boy. I love you, my son. I miss you. Just take care of yourself. Stay cool. I love you again." He said it like 3 times in different sentences. And I almost cried. But I was so happy because I haven't seen him say those things except I prompted. But like hearing those things and also appreciating those, like I think that was beyond any kind of thing I would actually pay for or seek for that I'm actually seeking to get. But the love of the Father, I think that's one of my achievements and what God is actually teaching me to like still show up even though it's been difficult and just keep doing the little and one day it's gonna show. So yeah, that's that. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Hi. Yes, AK. Thank you. So tell us, what are you working on? What are you building? What gaps have you noticed recently? Anything you want to share with us? Hi, good evening. Please, can you put it on? I'm not sure the mic is on.
Okay, I think it's on now.
Yes.
So lately, I've been more intentional about my affirmations. Yeah, and I think it's been coming along pretty well. Thanks.
Thank you very much for sharing. All right, so today we're going to be discussing we brought together two concepts that almost in practice don't come together at all. It's creativity and structures. And while we're deciding on, what to do today, what we wanted to discuss, I remember Pastor Fedi mentioning, we should talk about structures, and I took it back to the Creative Tribe team, and the word architecture came up, and thinking about architecture, it's sort of a framework it's like a skeletal work that brings everything together that then flesh grows out of from. It's like, as a human being, if you do not have skeletons and you just have flesh, nothing to hold it up, just comes crumbling down. So that's what I think about when I think of architecture. Today, we're bringing two of our very own professionals who, in their, I don't want to call it 9 to 5, but in their purpose and calling, they build systems and structures for businesses, for people, for creatives. I have our very own Papa Ikemba Johnson. A round of applause, please clap for him. Thank you very much. You're welcome. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you for honoring us with your presence, Papa. Also, we have my very good friend. I think we are still friends. Are we still friends? I never know, right? Martin Ejenobo. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. You're welcome. How's been your day? That's your mic. Just can I get the second mic from my second speaker? So, I wanted to give you a background of who they are, but I think that I should allow them speak to the magic they create. So, hi, Martin. I would like to start from you. So, tell us, who is you? Who are you?
I just help put structures into. I don't know. It's not like It's not like I don't always enjoy doing it. Actually, I just find myself helplessly doing it. Yeah, that's just me. It's more passion driven than just for the money.
Martin just said it's not for the money, guys. So
No, I didn't say it's not. Okay, so let me put that in context. I have many teeth bites from people I've been trying to help put structure than from people outside. Tooth bites. So I have scars to show for it. So it's just that I like to do it. It's not I just helplessly find myself doing it.
Okay. Hi. Who are you?
I am a breakthrough strategist. Yeah. I'm a breakthrough strategist. If you grew up in the kind of environment that I grew up, when the word breakthrough comes, it was, yes, kabaye, there were particular services, there were specialized services for it. Exactly, but in my years of practice, research, and working with clients, both personal and corporate, what I found is that breakthroughs are results that are produced when mindset is shifted, when paradigm is shifted, when you change how you look at something. That's where oftentimes we think it is in the miracle, is in the results, is in the outcome. No, it started from a shift in the way that you saw the problem. It started from you taking a look at a problem and no longer seeing it as a problem. That's breakthrough, and that's what I help people do, really. Clarify vision, optimize operations, which is how they do it, and basically scale sustainably. Thank you.
Tell me to cut to that. Yeah. when you do when you are doing something and somebody, puts words behind what you do, it's always sweet. All right, so I'm going to give each of you about 6 minutes each to just give me an opening speech, so to speak, about the architecture of creativity. And just to put context to our conversations today, so I think I would like to start from you, Kimba.
Yes. I was hoping you would say me, because what I prepared to start with here was to speak on the creativity part, and then allow Martin to speak on the architecture part. So if he had called Martin, he would have stolen my shine, So why I want to speak to the creativity part is because when I had been given the topic, I spent pretty much most of the week just thinking about creativity and how, for me, I've always rebelled with the idea that creatives, are special set of people in the artistic or literary world, right? They have to be eccentric and dress like the way Daniel is dressing to be creatives, and they have to match and mix colors and, look weird, right? So, but I've always wrestled with that idea so much so that, in the earlier days, I would count myself out, from being a creative. right? But something, inside me always wrestled with the idea. I wasn't just comfortable with like, oh, why are they creatives and I'm not? What makes them so special, And I thought you have to be a singer or you should paint. I tried all those things. It didn't quite pan out well, it was not something that was a natural calling for me, But then I found again that, we are all creatives because we are all offsprings of the Creator God, right? Genesis 1 comes to mind very rapidly when you think of it. God comes into a chaotic environment, and then his response to chaos was to create. So what that says to me is that creativity is not a gifting, it's a response. It is chaos. It is organizing chaos. It is bringing beauty out of mess. It is putting structure to madness, And then what we see as the outcome of that is what we now call creative, right? So yeah, that's just what I want to say because Mojo is
All I can say is,
So I'll just stop there and let Martin take it up from there. Thank you.
hi, Martin.
Ikemba, thank you so much. That was a very good opener, and it was a good way to start. I'm a very logical person, and it's a yin-yang, it's good, bad, right? So I always grew up knowing that 1 + 1 = 2, but I always saw that in the world, 1 + 1 is 35.7555288, and it doesn't add up. If you say 1 + 1 = 22, I can say, okay, maybe you add the first one and the second one, you make 2, and then you reproduce it. There's a logical, but when the numbers don't even add up, my logic shuts down. So you can imagine how much mental head boots I've had when, the best is not preferred. And the truth is, if you're a creative, understand the world is rigged against you. The world is rigged against you. It's not fair. The system is not a fair one. So when I finally found that out, I dedicated my time to finding out how to bias that unfairness in my favor. Because it's just sheer wickedness when you've worked so hard and she's played all her life and she's getting all these scores and you're getting nothing. It means effort doesn't matter anymore. We saw that in the election, but that's a topic for another day. So before the Harvard Business Review came out, people have been using the Bible as a business book. And long after we're gone, if Jesus tarries, people will keep using the Bible as reference for business. So I'll just delve into that quickly and do my introduction of 2 creatives. And you look at their lives, and then we can deduce certain things from them. And I can hand over to the pretty lady back. Okay. So if you go to Genesis 25, I'll just quickly jump there, and I'll be using the Authorized King James Version, my favorite. So the Bible says in verse 22 of Genesis 25, and the children struggled together within her. And okay, let me switch over. But we know that who between Esau and Jacob, who came first? Esau. So the 2 children were struggling for who will come out of the womb, right? There was a tussle. The person who came first, do you think he's stronger or weaker? Stronger. Now, so for strength, we give it to Esau, right? Then, if you look at creativity, who was more creative, Esau or Jacob? Team Esau, raise your hand. Team Jacob, raise your hand. Okay, it's because we're Christians. Let us go to 27, Genesis 25:27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Look at the resume. And listen to Jacob's resume. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Who had skill? Who was delivering? Who was the go-to guy? Esau. A cunning hunter. In fact, in that word, a cunning hunter is a lot. King James distilled that word to it's a lot. For you to go and hunt, you must make sure that before you hunt, you are not the hunted. When you catch the game, you must carry the dead animal with blood smelling and carry it and make sure that the animals who can smell blood don't get you and you get home.
Okay, just curious. Esau, in many references, you find that he was a seed hunter. What that means is that in that moment, the Bible, in some translation, they called him a skilled hunter. But then it turns out that in common sense, he was short of man. Esau would eventually sell his porridge, would eventually be betrayed by his brother to go and look for fresh meat.
Yes. Yes, but we've not gotten to that part. I mean, in terms of skill, let's give it to the guy. It's a skill. Jacob, they didn't even tell any skill. Okay, he's a man dwelling in tents. Can you cook? They didn't say anything.
Sorry, I love this conversation, but please let's track up the further down the line. Jacob would eventually invent the striped, spotted, and sparkled. You would find his business acumen when it was time to compete with his uncle Laban. He took the market.
Fedi. Jacob wasn't that smart. He wasn't that smart. It's God. God helped the man. The man would have died poor. God just pity him. He said, my baby go die. He pity him. He wasn't smart. But trust me, if you follow the story, Jacob wasn't half as smart. In fact, the whole deception of Isaac is Rebecca. Rebecca is the one that said, come, they won't sell birthright too. He said, so I'll get to that part because my story touches that part. If you look at both of them, the skilled person is Esau. The father loved Esau, the mother loved Jacob, right? You call it equal. But the blessing that is given to the next generation comes from the father. So Esau had advantage. In any ramification you look at it, he was advantaged. Jacob literally had nothing. They just said Rebekah loved him. They said Esau loved Jacob because he was performing. He was a performer because he ate of his venison. Jacob, they had not. If you look at it, and this is scripture, I'm not trying to make it up. 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Finish. Nothing to eat. Right? So Esau was the skilled creative. And the problem with Esau is the architecture. There was a lack of that architecture. This is what the Bible defines as a lazy man. And I had a problem handling it for a long time. It said the lazy man does not roast that which he took up in hunting. And I said, hey, the man who goes to the forest at the risk of his life, who goes and hunts, and probably hunts a buffalo, and carries the buffalo on his head, and fights his way back. He's tired. He has gotten home. He's tired. He pulls his shoes. You say he's lazy because he didn't roast the buffalo. Are you kidding me? But that's what the Bible calls a lazy man. And we can't be smarter than the person who wrote the scripture. The reason is because there's no architecture to it. How do you preserve your buffalo? The meat will go bad in a few hours. So if you don't have methods for preservation and all those things, so if all you have is creativity already, and I'll show you. So when Esau now creatively goes to hunt one day, he comes back, he's tired, he's hungry. Remember, Jacob is not a good cook. The Bible never said anything about fantastic cooking, there was nothing to Jacob. He was a plain man dwelling in tents. Finish. But Esau had come and he was hungry. And he said to Jacob, hey, give me this red porridge, right? Give me porridge, let me eat. And Jacob says, guy, you need something. There's something I've been dying from the womb. I need it too. Can we swap? Now, people might take it as, oh, that's a bad thing. How many of us have gone to the market in the last 90 days? You've bought something. When you bought something and you paid for it, were you a deceiver? I want this water. She says it's 200 naira. I give her 200 naira. She gives me the water. Do you feel guilt for taking the water? Why should Jacob feel bad for a business transaction? It was a pure business transaction. Even when the father wanted to bless him, it was a business transaction. Give me venison, my soul will bless you. Transaction. You do this, I give you this. Finish. So they did this deal. But look at something about Jacob. Jacob had excellence. His skill level wasn't high, but the excellence level was good. Check out the customer service. Just check it out. Look at verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau swore unto him. But see, what they were negotiating on was for the porridge, right? Look at 25. Sorry, no. Oh, yes. Esau said, feed me, I pray thee, 30, with the same red porridge, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. But see what Jacob did in 34. And Jacob gave him bread and porridge, and he did eat. They even gave him water. That is customer service per excellence. More than you asked for. The delivery was good. It was so good, this guy never... So at this time, how old do you think these guys were? Deductive logic. 18? Anybody? No, they've not reached 40 because it's in the next verse. They've not entered 40. I can tell you that for free. They're about... Okay. See. This is verse 25 we are reading, right? Let's go to verse 26. 26, verse 26, chapter 26, verse 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri, the Hittite. So it was later he turned 40. At this time of the birthright, he had not seen any, life was young. I mean, life was still, there was a lot of life ahead of him. So birthright is what you are going to get later. It's like retirement plan. Somebody saying, sell me your retirement plan. You say, is it not if I'm alive that I will retire? He ate porridge. So it didn't cross his mind in 20 thoughts. It didn't cross his mind, right? So the thing with very good creatives, a good creative can see his canvas, but not so far. These are the things that naturally inhibit creatives from doing as well. This is why you see musicians fight record label. Oh, they've cheated me. But somebody picked you when nobody trusted you. How did you get TV air rights or radio play? Somebody paid for that. The car you were dancing on in the music video is somebody's car. The private jet you flew to Abuja, somebody paid for that. And he paid now so that when you blow, he will have a portion. You are blowing, he's having portion. I say, he's taking my money. Excuse me, it ceased to be your money the day you signed the dotted lines. Oh, I don't like doing contract. That's your future. Your future is written in dotted lines. And so this is how these things are rigged against, because there's an architecture for success. There's an architecture for business. It's in the boring things you don't want to do. Which is why I like his opening statement about breakthrough. It's a mind thing. I don't like, all this paperwork, I don't like paperwork. Hey, your children might continue serving some people's children. Just on paper, one paper. Ask the government of Nigeria, they will tell you. They borrow, exactly, she's a lawyer. So whether I give her the bike, she will tell you. So we need to understand that there are certain things that you need to put in place. And the other thing, if you look at the part where Isaac now calls Esau for the birthright, right? You will see that Jacob put certain things in place. Esau had gone to go and, gone to hunt and everything. And Rebekah says to Jacob, come on, there's news. Sharp, 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 let's react. Your father wants to bless your brother. So this is what you are going to do. You are going to go and collect and she tells him the grand plan. And he's like, can't do that. She says, why can't you do it? He said, because I've done my risk analysis. I'll go, he'll touch my body, it's smooth. Esau is hairy. My voice, different from Esau's. The smell of my body is different from Esau's. On many counts, I will fail. I don't have Esau's resume. I can't fight this client headlong. This client has more clout than I do. And the mother said, don't worry. First of all, let me take out the risk. So she did, that was one of the first insurance policies signed in history. She said, if it's a curse, thy curse be on me. So go. If it's blessing, you collect. If it's curse, it's me. So Jacob went risk-free. Risk analysis was done. Bible says, who takes on a project and does not first count the costs? Risk analysis was done. Then she now implemented ways to mitigate the risk. She took the spare key, got into Esau's room, opened the door, and took his clothes. She didn't take the one he wears on Sunday that has Jean-Paul Gaultier. She took the one that he wears to hunt that smells like bush. So when Isaac hugged him, he said, my son smells like the field. She knew her client. So Esau, because Esau was competing with Jacob, two clients were competing against themselves, but somebody had a structure behind him. Structures are invisible, but you will see the result. He had a structure behind him. Somebody else was fighting on his own terms. He had failed on arrival. The person who marked the script was already on the other side. And one other thing you need to understand is that the client is blind. The client is for the better part, forgive my French, stupid. They'll tell you, I want this, but they don't know what they want. After all, when they did a blind taste test, you put Pepsi in a plain cup, put Coke in a plain cup, people say they like Pepsi. The moment you put the logo, people say they want Coke. Same people, oh. Same people. The client doesn't know what he wants. Red Bull was in UK, nobody was buying. They put empty cans of Red Bull in the dustbin, filled all the club dustbins with empty cans of Red Bull. They say, people, they buy them. Give me one. They just wanted what other people wanted. That's how sophisticated the customer is. Oh, I'm very smart. That's how smart they are. So when you are working hard to think, oh, I will make the best drink, I will make the best product, I will make the best creative product to attract them, sometimes it's the delivery. So Red Bull knew how to water the mouth of those people. Same thing with Esau, with Jacob, and I'll show you how that came. Remember I told you Esau is not a very good cook. Who cooked the meal that the father ate? Rebecca. She said, don't worry, I know your father's palate. He doesn't know the difference between bushmeat and normal meat. Remember, Isaac had been eating Esau's venison, the bushmeat, for years. I've eaten bushmeat. Trust me, guys. The taste, the muscles are more, the texture is different. It's sublime. To try to describe it is like try to describe egusi soup to a Chinese man. He can't get it. You just need to taste it. It's divine. It's divine. The difference is like this. So how you eat goat meat? I say, venison. I'm like, is this guy sick? Again, scientifically, when you lose your senses, if you lose your eyesight, your ear becomes more sensitive. Your body tries to compensate for that loss. So you will know people by their voices. So if somebody just walks in, you say, oh, Chinedu, hi. Just by the voice. Blind people can do that. If people who don't have sense of smell, one other sense, one of the 5 senses will try to compensate. At this time, Isaac had lost his eyes, so he was relying on touch. And the mother knew that touch would be one of the senses they will use. She had gotten goat's hair. How can you touch goat's hair and think it's human being? But she had her plan all right, well done. He relied on smell. She already got the garment he was going to wear, smelling exactly like Esau. Looks like a duck, walk like a duck, it's a duck, at least. And guess who? The world we are dealing with is smart in these things. They call it neuromarketing. How do politicians sell themselves to us over and over again? We make one bad decision, I make a worse decision, I'll make inconsistent succession. It's because they know how to sell. They know what you want to hear. And they just tell you. So sometimes, I've heard a believer say, Martin, should you be teaching about neuromarketing and ways of manipulating the human thinking? And I said, see, there are 3 kinds of words in the Bible. There's the word of the devil in the Bible. At least when God asked Lucifer, where have you been? He said, from wandering to and fro around the earth, right? That's the word of the devil in the Bible. There's the word of man in the Bible. There's the word of God in the Bible, and that's the greatest one. Now, God himself said that we should be as gentle as doves, but get sense. You need to read that part in the Worry version. I send you as sheep amongst wolves. Get sense. They have teeth, you don't. So you must be smart, because the world we are dealing with, the Bible says that this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. So you must understand that the thing you are thinking is what they are scoring you on. It's not the scoreboard. It doesn't ding on the scoreboard. It's sad to say, because I'm creative myself. It's sad to say, but there are other things that matter. How fast do you get to the market? Speed. Remember all this time that they were changing his room, breaking into his room, changing clothes, cooking goats. You know how many of you have seen how long it takes them to skin goats during Ilea? It takes a while. They had skinned the goat, cooked the goat, did everything. Jacob had gone to do all the dressing, the change. If you've been in drama, you see how long it takes to change costume. They've changed costume, done everything. The guy has not come back. In fact, they finished blessing him. He collected the blessing and moved away. Esau never come back. Time. So if she has the best car, he has a bad car, and I need a car now, her car will be ready next year. I will buy this one. By the time she comes to a good car, the money, the budget for car has gone. So sometimes it's not the best product that wins. It's the available product. I think Pastor Taiwo is one person that is very sound in that. He will say, Martin, this your product is over good. Take it to the market. I say, oh, no. We need to dot the I's and T's. He said, the I's and the T's are dotted in the marketplace. That dot you are looking for now, there, they go help you dot them. In fact, they will be telling you, oh, this is what we, suggestion. The things you need to put to make it good, they will tell you. After all, it's Microsoft that will sell us a useless product. Then they will sell us the patch, the correction of the product. They will sell it to us. So these are some of the things that you need to understand about architecting creativity. But I'll just stop here.
I think we can just close here. Thank you very much, Martin. You know when you... Do you understand? You know, when I already made the entire list of questions to guide the conversation, and then Martin comes, he comes first, takes away like 5 questions. Then Martin comes and takes away 15 questions. What am I supposed to do now? But we'll navigate this. Okay. Okay. So, from your resumes that you did not give us, I understand that you have you've worked with individuals, businesses, and creatives to build systems and structures. It's funny how I'll do the same, but yes. And what do you think when you are helping creatives or build systems? Where do you usually start from? That's for you, in case you did not know. What's the foundation that you think must be in place for you to even start a architecture at all for any creative?
Vision. He has to is clarifying his vision. That's the standpoint. You have to be able to come to a point where, for the creative, he's able to tell if this is a hobby, if this is a side gig for him, so that you even know how much of an effort you want to invest into that. Because as much as you consult, it's not all the clients are not for you, right? So you want to know if it's even worth it. You know, if this guy is going to gas out on you 6 months down the line, because So I think it starts with vision for creative, or anybody that wants to put out work there. And of course, from my initial intro, you know what I mean by creative, yeah.
Martin, do you want to say something to that before I give you your own dish?
I think the wisdom in what he came by saying is very great. And because I did not lean to that wisdom, I got a lot of bites, right? Because when you're trying to help a creative, the first way that help comes in, it feels like you're boxing me, you're bothering me, you're clipping my wings, and they'll fight you. Not because they hate you. They hate the fact that, see the person I want to talk to now, why can't I just talk? Why am I sending an email? Because tomorrow she'll say, I never saw him. We didn't have contact. So they'll say, the person, let me just talk. But you know that you do some job for clients, you will end up in court. And the only way you can say we had an agreement is if it was written. If not, you by her word against yours. So they'll say, see the person, Shebi, I've been doing this business since, what are you? And Ikeba's approach is, first you try to help the mind. I try to do the work first and say, see the work, let's do it. I can get to 100 miles per hour in 2 seconds. Right? But Ikemba is going through the motion, through the process, and I think that's the right thing to do. If the work hasn't changed in the mind, any effort you are doing will be a fight. It will be rebuffed.
I can relate. So earlier you had said that the definition, which I absolutely agree with, that particular scripture sort of had a mind shift in my mind as to how we make efforts, not just even as Christians, but as people. We think that the work is getting the clients or getting the fame or becoming known, right? You forget that the real work starts when success is achieved, right? So as you've defined earlier who a lazy person is, how do you, in your experience, design systems that support both creative freedom and professional consistency for your clients? Like, it's not just about the initial dash, it's how you are able to sustain. So how are you able to design that? Because as you've said, the initial thing they feel is that you're trying to box them. So how do you fill that gap? How do you get to that point in their mind? How do you help them build that structure, that consistency, while you're not trying to box them, but also helping them build that consistency that is able to build sustainably?
I think the most important thing first is orientation, right? Because, to be frank, structures box. Structures restrict. For instance, in my company, we have 3 partners, right? I'm talking of my tech company. So in that area, I'm pure creative, right? So there are checks of a certain amount I can't sign alone. Somebody must. I'm CEO, and I brought the other partners. I can decide. My shares are enough to, my voting power is enough to override. I can veto those things. But I put those structures, and it binds me. Sometimes I feel handicapped about it. But that's the structure you need to build a company. Because if I wanted to take a vacation, if I got married today and I say I'm going for a 3-month vacation, I don't want any Nigerian call to come to my phone. It is these structures that will work. That's what keeps this company sustained, right? So building it is work. And because most people don't see it, when the Bible says about the wise man and the foolish man, he never talked about material. He talked about foundation. The wise man built on sand. He might have built with gold. Sorry, the foolish man built on sand. He might have built with gold, iron, very strong structure. But you are building a foundation that can't hold. The wise man might have built with very frivolous, maybe wood, but he built on rock. As long as you can't break the rock, which is why they couldn't destroy much of Iran's nuclear facility. It was built in the depth of the mountains. You can't blow the mountain away just like that. So when you are building those structures, you see effort going in, but forgive my chemistry, no visible reaction. You're saying, oh, we've put in this effort, so this amount of months, no reaction. There was a guy who, a company fired his chief marketing officer and hired a new one. That chief marketing officer started using influencer marketing. They changed, they switched. 18 months down the line, nothing. In the 19th month, they started hammering. It's the Chinese bamboo principle. You will first invest. It is root first, fruit later. So some of the some of the decisions we are making now, you will see them 2-3 years down the line. That's why when you start putting structures, you will say, what is this nonsense? Somebody that I can just call and we've done a handshake. I'll now be going through structure. I'll be signing legal contracts. That's me laughing in a robo. You get it when you get home.
Thank you. When Martin was talking, he said something about talent not being enough. And for creatives here, what do you think they need to understand to move from reliance on their talent to being a creative entrepreneur? Because there are two different things. You can be a creative and you cannot understand the business behind it. So for the creatives here, say someone like a Pastor Fedi, somebody like a Ike, anybody in this house, what do you think they need to know to get them from that, oh, I'm a creative, I'm a cool kid, I'm able to do this, to the understanding of, see, it's not enough to be a creative, you need to be a creative entrepreneur. Your talent is not enough. There's a place of entrepreneurship. So I'd like the two of you to answer, but starting from Ikemba.
Thank you for that question. I think that for what I would say, for me, what I would say is going back to Martin's analogy about the proverb about the lazy man, you know, that it comes down to, in spite of how brilliant, right, the creative is, in spite of how talented they are, it comes down to sustainability. So it comes down to the question of, do I want to be a flash in the pan? Do I want to be able to do this long term? Do I want to even be able to profit from this, right? And once those questions, those boxes are checked, then doing the work of you will now be more open to the conversation of, oh, structure, oh, contracts, oh, you know, this, oh, that, oh, processes, you know. You will now be open to that conversation. So first of all, you have to be clear about what you want to do, you know, how you want to. Now you've cut the meat. You have the talent, you have the brilliance, you've created the product, you've cut the meat. How do you preserve the meat? Because one of the things that structure does, you know, is that it also protects you, right? It protects you, protects your investments. You don't want to be talented, be a talented footballer, for instance, and then when your football age has finished, your real age has finished and everything, and you don't have anything to show for it. You know, you just only enjoyed when you were active, you know, and then when you are no longer active, there's nothing else to show for it. So structure protects, but if you don't have an understanding really of why you need structure, then you will struggle with it, and then you will waste all your productive years, you know, without having anything to show for it.
Just a follow-up to that. What I hear you say is that before you can start to do structures, you need to have gotten to a certain stage. So are you saying that creatives don't need structure from the get-go? That they need to have gotten to a place where they have built something, or they have their vision is clear, and then, okay, now that I've blown, or now that I've built it, now I need structure.
So in order for me to respond to that, what I would also want to be clear on is, we are speaking, it's just for us to establish that we are speaking to creatives that are come to a place where they found a talent, a gift, they've created something that is profitable. And that's really what I'm speaking. That's the segments that I'm speaking to. They've created something that they can profit from. You know, not somebody that's just paints in his parlor, you know, does sip and paint on his own and eats, you know, McVitie's dark cream and, you know, sips stuff in his parlor. He doesn't have any plan to, he doesn't have any, I'm sorry, he doesn't have any plans to profit from that. I'm speaking to somebody that, oh, we've seen, oh, our guy, this, you and I have seen that, oh, Bernard, for instance, is talented in this thing. And the way this guy is going, you know, he's beginning to make headway with his push. Then he needs to begin to think around, okay, if I collaborate with this person, there should be some agreement so that we know how to share the proceeds when something comes out of this. You need to begin to put that. The truth of the matter is that as people, as offsprings of the Creator God, it is already embedded, structure is already embedded in us. That God is a creative or that God is a creator doesn't mean he operates without structure. So in one way or form in our lives where there's structure, but we're not speaking to that kind of structure. We are speaking to the structure that preserves your creativity, even when you can no longer be creative at that scale.
Martin, you have spoken to people who already have something going. I mean, their emotion. I would like you to speak to creatives who are budding, like they're not yet sure of where they are. And in my mind, they're in a vantage point because now they hear what structure is. And now they can, as they're budding, as they're thinking about their creative expression, they can think structure. So I would like you to speak to those people as to where you think they need to start from in their mind, how they need to start thinking about these things alongside their creative expression.
Ikeba, thanks for that, by the way. I think that was very spot on. I think you need to structure from the get-go. The most creative being in the universe is God, and he's structured around the Trinity, right? So you need to see, talent is overrated. You can sell what you don't have. You can sell a product that you don't yet have. So I'll tell you one person that I've seen do it, and I'll tell you another human being that I've seen do it. For 400 years, God will send Isaiah, Jeremiah, all the ayahs to go and prophesy about Jesus, a product that was yet to come. He was speaking about it long ago. When Isaiah was saying, "For unto us a child is born," that child will not be born years after he had died, after his bones had rotted. So that's how sometimes the first thing you need, if you are a creative, you have a hobby by default. A hobby is something you have that nobody else has. You have, but you're not giving it out. It's hobby. This is what a hobby is, in another sense. Say I like Ife, and I'm like, man, that girl's hot. And so I start winking at her. Like, I start giving her signal. But it's dark. The room is dark. The more signal I'm giving, I'm saying, she's not responding now. I'm twisting my eye, and she's not responding. It's dark, brother. Nobody, you don't even have visibility. They don't even know you are there. It's a hobby. It's only you. It's creative masturbation. It's you. Only you are enjoying yourself. Until you are in the marketplace, you are a business when there's a customer. You are a leader when there's a follower. If you are leading and there's no follower, you are taking a stroll. So understand the hard definitions. That's just what it is. Now, even for me, it took a long time to understand it. At a point, I hope I won't be breaking clients' disclosures, but just for illustration purposes, and it doesn't leave this room. So at the time, I did some consulting for Pastor Fedi's company, I'll tell you. And I noticed he was traveling a lot, and I was really angry about it. I'm like, let's save that money. But later, I got to understand the wisdom. When you are here and you are typing emails to a client in America, they'll say, Nigeria. And your country doesn't have the best, yes, it's not the best country flag. It doesn't have the best brand. So it's a Nigerian email, they don't come again. But there's something about when you are in the room, when you are present. You shake hands. It changes the deal. So there were creatives working in the office. There was somebody opening the doors. You need those two things. You need the skill and the market. If you are the CEO of a company, you started a business, your primary work is the money. Your primary work is to get a customer and maintain the customer. Daniel, do you know how to sew very well? Great. How long would it take you to be a very good seamsman? 2-3 years. So would you be hungry in those 2-3 years? No. Now he'll get somebody who can sew. He doesn't need the skill. Yeah, to be very good to the taste that he wants. So he would get somebody that sews at X amount and sew a fantastic suit for Jeffrey and add his markup. The markup he adds is called a profit. Maybe gross profit, but that's the profit, right? So he doesn't even need to have the skill to sew. He needs to know who needs a good suit. That's how you connect the market. So don't obsess too much over the skill. I don't have this. What you don't have, don't die about it. Some people have more than even if he gets good 3 years from now, the person who was good before him already has a brand. Guess what, guys? Do you know where all your Louis Vuitton, your all those nice Chanel bags, do you know where they are made? China. You know what they slap on it? Made in Italy. They'll just put the zip. They'll put a buckle in Italy. It's now made in Italy. But the real thing is done in China. Nobody cares your operations. Operations is what happens at the back, how you get the creativity put together, all those things, how you get the product done. If the customer wants to be the word is tongue twisting, obfuscation. Take it out of my face. Give me the product. Do you get? So as a CEO, your work is to win in the marketplace. If you don't have a customer, very soon, there'll be no CEO. The chair you are sitting on, if you have to sell it to it. So you have to be out there, and you need visibility. You need to be talking. So there are 3 aspects of the business. There's the product, what you serve the customer. There is the innovation out there in the marketplace. And then there's the operation, what happens in the company, the day-to-day running, the finance, the paperwork. So if you are not good with paperwork, get somebody who is good. It's part of your operations. You need it. If you are not good with legal, right? But you need it, right? So those are not your thing. I'm good with looking at legal documents. I can sit and read a 50-page document, and I'll just laugh. Clause 9, subsection 2, remove it. I'm good at it. But I can't do that as a CEO. I will go hungry. I don't win by doing that. I'm fantastic at doing it. In fact, sometimes when legal documents come in the company, they'll just say, Martin, look at this. And I was doing that for my partners. This year, I told them, I said, I'm not doing it. They say, Martin, I've looked at it too, but I need you to give it a second look. I say, Uncle, I'm not doing that. That's not how this company will win. If not, all of us will go borrowing. I need to face the market. If you can't do it, hire someone that can do it. But it needs to be done. I agree that it needs to be done. It just doesn't have to be me. So I structured around my weakness. I can be very detailed. So that I'm a perfectionist, is a yin-yang, is a good, bad thing. It's bad for a CEO to be a perfectionist. You'll be looking at everything, dotting all the kilo day. Some money must lose. It's normal. It's normal. You just shouldn't lose to the point that your business can't move. If you are looking at in fact, you know, part of the commandments God gave the Israelites is that when you are gathering wheat, leave some. Loss. God commanded loss. Leave some. Don't be akagom. Leave some. That's what this lady came to do now, Ruth. How did she get to Boaz? How did their romance start? Is that she came to pack the leftover. Then from there, see babe, see guy, see babe, see guy. Leave some. A meaningful sum. But your accountant will put all those things together. I answered the question.
Thank you very much. So earlier we established that part of the reasons why creatives really don't like you guys is because you box their creativity. Practically, I would like practical examples now. How you've been able to design structure in a way that it does not take away their creativity or make them feel as if it's taking away their creativity. How you can create systems at the same time, still ensure that it's an environment enough for them to create at the level they need to create. Because I understand that there's a dichotomy in how a structure and system person thinks and how a creative on the other hand thinks, right? So practically, within your experience, give me like a practical example of something you've been able to do to be able to give creative space to create.
Yield to Martin. Let Martin start that, and then I can take it on. Because I don't
Do you want to stab at it?
Okay.
It's how you guys don't know how to navigate non-disclosures. Hire me. I'll teach you. There's a way you can talk about something without talking about something, but it's okay.
We're passionate. So, my approach usually, like I said, tonight it has changed here in Ikimba. My approach was that of a parent. Have you seen a parent take his child to school? The child is crying. The child is wondering, you want to dump me with strangers, leave me alone and, but you have to do it. The result of that going to school will show up years later. The child who you say, I love, oh, don't go to school, just stay with mommy. That child is going to be, I don't know. Exactly, he's going to be sweeping the streets later. So you pay today so that you can play tomorrow. So it's always big picture for me. I'll say, see, we can't grow. If you're a small business, right, if the amount of work you do is small job, 300K, 200K, you might not need to structure. The need for structure wouldn't come. So in science, there are different kinds of organisms. There are what we call microorganisms. For instance, there are organisms you need to use a microscope to look at. Viruses, amoebas, all those things. And when you look at all those microorganisms, one thing you find out is that they don't have bones. They are amorphous, they are structureless. They are small. They don't need they don't need to have structure. If I take your bone away from you, you will almost fall down like a pack of meat. What keeps you erect is your bone. So structures are needed when you are building high. If what you are building is bungalow, right? You don't need a deep foundation. You say, I want to do a 38-story building. You better start digging that foundation, bro. In 2 months, you are still on your foundation. Somebody has finished this build. You are still on your foundation because you are going high. You need that structure. You think it's not windy now. Go on the 36th floor of a building and see the amount of wind. In fact, they put permanent glass there and not let you open it so that you will not see the amount of wind that is there. Right? So those structures come in later. If growth is what you are seeking, you must do the hard thing. It's like taking anti-malaria drugs. They are not the nicest tasting things, but they are the things you need. Structures are unseen, so sometimes people fight it, and I understand. I understand that. There's just so much fight that I can't take, right? But I understand where they're coming from. Creativity needs to be free. And when creativity is unstructured, you're like uranium that is not contained. If I contain uranium, I can use it to produce electricity. I can use that uranium to do, when it's unstructured, it's deadly. If I just bring uranium in the room like this and leave it here, by the time we finish, there'll be so much radiation in our bodies, we'll be in trouble. So if you don't structure, if you have power to sign any check, perpetually, no second look through. The Bible even said it, that you should structure your decision making. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So some people have made decisions that have sank companies, sank countries, because they made decisions and did not pass it through. Even when it comes to dating, I have a Senate committee. These usually don't know. But we'll go and visit the members of my Senate. They understand what it is. Once I show up, they know that they'll tell me, Martin, I understand what means. And that's when she's going. We'll have a good time. No problem. She was nice to them, everything. But they no go work. Man, that's the catch. I'm not good at reading traffic lights. So if a lady is liking, I'm not good at it until you tell me I like you. I know that's a little, right? So I go pass it through my Senate. They tell me, Martin, she like you, Shao. So have structures that help you. It just helps to put things in perspective, and it helps you grow.
Right. Brilliantly put together. Just to add to that, I would say that finding the balance between creativity and structure, right? Where structure is not stifling creativity, and creativity is not overriding structure, is purpose. Is purpose. when for instance, I engage in a more practical sense, I engage a client, a creative, all right? I like to first understand what they're about, what they want to do, what they want to achieve, how far they want to travel. With that understanding, then it's now easier to communicate the need for structure. At that point, structure is no longer seen as a stifler, it's seen as an enabler. Do you understand? For instance, I once heard Pastor Fedi talking about how, he struggled with human resource for the longest time because he's just a therapist by calling. Everybody is coming to work for him, even at the detriment of the organization, until it got to the point where, and I'm sure that he had had several consultants with that regards, because that is also structure. Structure this part of this so that people don't come and take advantage of your goodwill, right? People don't come and take advantage of the resources, because it takes you a lot of effort to bring all of this in, to be able to create this. But then, because there's no structure in the way that you are allowing traffic to you, then it is taking off that resources and not necessarily replenishing. And then what happened, and then he had to step back for structure to rein in, right? And then structure reined in, and that saved his business. So you see, in a practical sense, how that works. So structure is not necessarily a stifler. Structure is an enabler, especially when purpose is known.
So to just buttress.
Creative, last month, the person was under pressure. He wanted to get a job from a company, and the company canceled on him that he cannot pay it to his personal account. So he started that night to try and open an account. But things like that, if you want to put money in any company, people look at the books. They want to see discipline. And those things are there. They want to see discipline. And whether it's not even about startups are also involved. But even if you run a regular traditional business, the way you run your business is, I still feel bad because growing up in the South, before I walk from my house to the next bus stop, I'll see a Kennedy Lichuku. What's the other one?
The
Young Shago. You guys know them. Gone. Ife Sinachi, like they're all gone. Chisco.
Yeah.
Chisco is even a bus stop without a company. People don't know say Chisco was
Yes.
They just say Chisco bus stop. They don't know that was a company. That place was a big bus station. And I think these men were gifted industrialists. They just were not structured.
Yeah.
And I even think, quite frankly, unfortunately, I think it's even more common with a lot of the Igbo companies. They just don't like to it will keep my wife and I and sons. You understand? So I really think if you really want to attract, and there's a certain quality of clients you want to get. Recently, we're going to bid for a Frexing job. We missed it. Because those ones said we should bring 2024 tax. We stopped 2023. We still there far. You understand? By the time you now do the last year own, right? As of yesterday, I'm sitting on the board, right? I'm sitting on several boards. And one of the things that come with sitting on the board is I have to be submitting tax LIRS. And I'm in a group where nobody's paying LIRS, only me. You understand? But you understand? So these are like, why I run for election? Because that's how they start tracking. Entrepreneurs are untouched. You understand? Because they're doing it for humanity. So LIRS, but I'm happy that doing those things, pension if you can, those things make your company bankable.
Yeah.
Those things make you backable. Right? Even now there are funds from BUI, right? I think BUI was even saying now they want to even bank content creators. But one of the criteria for banking content creators is to see your subscribers and your numbers, but your books. So when they find you are the account, all cash is profit. You understand? They will just say, please, we can't be chasing this one. Right? So I really think it's to unlock the next level is very important. I really think there's a dance between structure and creativity. For the early days, I really think we just wanted to scale. But even I got to a point where I realized that what the company needs now is less of my temperament and more of the structure. If I allow myself push through we'll just be starting companies and be going. So it's sometimes you have to sort of pull back, right? I start though, but sparingly. You know how the Bible word said.
You know, so when I when I was very deep into HR trainings, I usually play a game with my participants. It's called passing the pen. So we tell everybody to pass a pen. Make sure if the pen goes round all your teammates, count it as one. So if it goes one cycle, one, you know, and then they'll pass the pen in, say, 60 seconds. And I tell them, look, there was a team that hit 300 in 60 seconds. And they're like, ah. So guess what people started doing? And this to buttress what Ikemba is saying about what determines structure is the purpose, the intent, because you can be overstructured. There's such a thing as overstructuring. Water is good, but if I turn a bucket of water into your system, I'm putting your kidneys under intense pressure to filter out that water. Your veins and your arteries they'll be under high pressure. So it's good to take a cup of water, but a bucket of water, that's overstructuring. So what people do when we tell them that you must pass the pen, I mean, try and hit 100, 300, they're like, and there's 20 of us, the pen has to pass. So guess what people did? Because the purpose now is how frequency was the purpose. What they just did, everybody brought their hands together, and they put the pen here, and started tapping. So they just tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they were hitting 300, 400. Instead of passing the pen around, since the pen has to touch everybody's hand, they just put the hands together. And so the purpose determines how you can structure and restructure. Structure is not something you do once and then you go to sleep. You can always restructure and tweak for success.
Sorry, just to speak to what PFA said about structure being the foundation for growth, and I think that Martin had also touched on that, is that, like I said before, in some way or form we are structuring. But the question is, what are we structuring? Are we structuring dysfunction, or are we structuring for growth? Because the truth is, imagine that your company is anyhow, and then but you have accounts. You have a corporate account. You manage to structure that part, but your culture is bad, processes are bad, and then a client comes. You have the capacity to receive what they're about to invest or commit to you. But because you do not have the skeleton, the processes, then you now say, money don't land. We go open branch for Chicago. And then you take your dysfunction. And
multiply your problem.
And multiply. Do you understand where laws actually work? Because in Nigeria, you can say, you can use Ogboju for them. Then you go to a client where laws actually work, and then you have gone to... Do you understand? So you've escalated your dysfunctional structure. So I think that I made a video yesterday where I was speaking to that we speak of structure, we speak of all of these things, but purpose is very important so that you are not scaling rubbish. You are not scaling rubbish.
Yesterday I was in a meeting with a new client, and they actually need an intervention because there's an entire investment sunk in, already running facilities set up, but the staff is a mess. General manager, we're dating each other, causing mayhem in the entire organization. The decadence. The system is there. Like there's an entire business running. The system of burning, but as you were saying, they're scaling rubbish. So it's one problem to the other. So in light of that, I wanted to ask that because even what I now even realized yesterday now in those conversations was that even the CEO himself is party to the scaling issues, like the character. So in speaking to structures, right? Everybody's talking about, put these checks and balances. Speaking to the head of an organization, right? And how you are able to structure yourself first before you can now design structures that work. Because it's easy to say, we'll bring a consultant to come and fix all these things, and then when they fix it, the consultant goes, and then you come back, and everything is a mess. Yes, everything comes back to a mess because, So and understanding that here we don't just talk and point fingers as to what should be done, but we put a mirror in front of our faces and speak to your own structures. What are your own structures that you put in place? Martin had already told us that he doesn't just take on relationships, he has a Senate that decides on what is, because he knows that there are some cues he's not able to pick. So my two speakers speaking to company business structures, creative structures, company structures, and how they affect structuring. How is your company organogram instrumental to structures? Like how does it build structures? How does it break structures? Because we can hire Ikemba now, and in 6 months we are doing well. In 7th month, everything is back to status quo.
More money for me.
I'm not sure that's the kingdom way, but guys,
I mean,
sustainable.
the kingdom way is to solve problems. So if you bring me to solve problems,
Sustainable problem solving.
So I think that it's the answer to the question is in the question itself. It speaks to the man in the mirror, because Jeffrey said something about the spirit of the enterprise being the entrepreneur. So it speaks to if you're speaking to high level, all right. If you're speaking to high level executives like the founder, the CEO, I think that it is okay. I'm about to close a project, and it's a cultural intervention project, right? And I'd recommended a few interventions for them, and the founder, she's excited about it. It's like, exactly, this is what I had in mind, and me at the back of my head, I'm like, it starts with you, man. For this thing to even work, it starts with you, right? Because we can do all of these things now, and all these things that you've highlighted, oh, this is the issue here, this is the issue here, this is the issue here. You have a hand in it. You have a hand in making it work, I'm already thinking in my head that how do I deliver this intervention in a way that, do you understand, that speaks to her as much as it speaks to the people that she's calling me to intervene with, because she's also part of that. So I think that at that level, it's about having those difficult conversations with the founders and say, yeah, especially from the get-go, right? From the moment that they're contacting you and say, oh, thank you for articulating what the problem is. This is what I see, but, in order for whatever you're calling me for to make sense, in order for it to be effective, I need to collaborate with you. So I think that from a strategist or consultant point of view, it is about having a collaborative, and not like a messiah complex. Oh, I'm the fixer. They called me, I came, I fixed everything. No, it's to always say to the people that you work with that we are partnering to be able to take your business, to be able to take your creativity to the next level. So partner with me. Help me, let me help you, or help me to help you, in that sense, yeah.
I feel like Martin is going to hold the whip in this.
I'm the good guy. So what I try to help the clients to see is, I do an organogram, right? But the organogram is usually never finished. The organogram starts from CEO and goes down. But that's not the right organogram. The organogram actually is from the shareholders, because they appoint a CEO. The reason I'm CEO of my company, right, is because at the time it was set up, I was 100% shareholder, and I appointed a CEO, which so happens to be me. Now, later in life, can I sack the CEO and hire another CEO? Yes. I want to be able to sleep with both eyes closed. So if you know, there's a CEO for Microsoft. And his name is not Bill Gates. Founder, Bill Gates. But there's a CEO. He has really, that's a position. One of the biggest issues in organization where you see problems is at the very top. It's at CEO level. And the CEO just happens doesn't happen to be able to sack his or herself. To be frank, and I'm only saying this because the person is here, but usually I won't say it if my clients were here. I've seen Fedi sack himself, and it's a good thing. You need to take a hard stance and look in the mirror and say, see, I'm not the managing person. Fedi knows how to open doors. The door can be made of titanium. He will kick it open. But you see this managing, do the paperwork. When you are good at one area, you are automatically not good at it. If you are good at shaking hands and letting people and entering there and getting the money, I can swear by my dead grandmother, you're not good at paperwork. Because the skill for paperwork is not friendliness. It's not part of it. So your strength is a weakness. I didn't say you have strength and weakness. Your strength is, if I tell you I'm a sharp, focused person, it means that you can be here and I didn't see you because I'm focusing. The focus is good if I'm a sniper, if I'm a go-getter. But I will not be so relational. If I'm very relational, I'm here, there, I won't focus on the work. It's two different skill sets. And you do not need to beat yourself to become a basin if you are a spoon. There's no need. That's not you. That's not what. So even if the organization is struggling, that's why some people can read a course. Right? I can read medicine and do fashion. The medicine is what I studied. Fashion is who I am. I've studied, but as the person comes and says, patient too, nice dress. Oh my. What fabric? Patient. It's just who I am. And so if I'm someone that talks very much, I'm very good at, talking to people, confidential secretary is not my work. Because, you can't. You'll be on Channels TV. You say, it's not me. I just want to tell you that companies are dying these days. So I don't like my company said, before you know, you've given all the... Not because you're a bad person. You are a square peg in Iran. Exactly. Do you get? So sometimes I think we need to take that and have it at the back of your mind if you are a company owner, that one day you will sack yourself as CEO. But shareholder, nobody sacks you. Nobody has sacked Bill Gates as shareholder. He still owns the shares. He still calls the shots. Jimovia still calls the shots in Zenith. Don't be deceived. Do not deceive yourself from here to the door. That guy is in charge. Right? In which other bank? Tony Elumelu. He's still very much in charge. He's in the seat. So understand that, once you understand the difference between shareholder and CEO, it makes it easy. When you find out that as a CEO, I'm not that good. Or as a COO, I'm not good at operating the company. All those nitty-gritty, sign the paper, legal, have you done? All those things, it hurts my head. Hire a COO. See how structure is coming into play? And how structure is meeting HR. The people you are bringing, they are filling the gaps. So it's, and people like Kikemba will help you see that. So I'm just telling you that when you are structuring the organization, understand that there's difference between the shareholder and the CEO. If the CEO is not performing very well, you can sack and rehire. No, it doesn't. No. And the fact that you're CEO doesn't mean you have to be COO. You're the one operating the company. So there are times you give the operation to somebody else, and it will grow better. Yeah. It grows better under certain people, right? So understand when you understand that. There's a problem. In fact, there's one company that does that. There's a telecoms company that does that.
Okay, thank you. All right. Do we have any questions in the house? Anything you want to add? Jeffrey? You're creative. Because I feel like this panel is... Yes.
Don't mind if I collect some free consultancy. So, for the most part of my career, I've been more on the technical side, right? Either, working... closely with engineering or in design. I'm sure they're doing the work. And since 2023, for the first time, I am it took me a minute to realize that I was no longer in that position because I remember when the first project came, I was asked a question. So your team members are going to do this, and I'm like, anyway, what team members? I'm the one doing the work. And luckily for me, I was able to execute on that project because it was just one, and I didn't have a job, so I had time. And then after the project came in, I realized that, okay, this is something that can actually continue, right? And I wasn't freelancing, because I freelanced in the past. It wasn't a lot of things to deal with, but here I'm signing NDA, I'm drawing up proposal, I'm signing agreement, I'm preparing invoice, sending the invoice, following up. They're telling me they are withholding tax. I'm like, what is withholding tax? And trying to, Now, bank would, like, the client is a bank. They're like, don't worry, we'll sort your tax. I'm like, that's a thing. And now I'm in a place where I still want to do the technical work. You heard me talking about how this weekend I was, immersed in using a tool to build something. But then there's the business aspect of things. And I'm hearing you say that, you can outsource some certain things. Now, therein lies the problem, delegation. How do you resolve when you are outsourcing things that you don't want to deal with, right? It could be with operations, talent, project management, and even down to the technical part, so that you can focus on learning how to be the face, how to go out there and bring the money, right? Because I don't know that one, I'm learning it now. But then you are not getting the kind of results that you want, so that's me. I'm not getting the kind of results I want, so I have to do some certain things by myself, right? How do I say, okay, I need to focus on letting people go, looking for new talent, or do I still have to just keep doing it myself and trusting that the people I'm working with will come into, and then I can stand on their shoulder and know that, okay, this is sorted, and then continue doing what I'm doing? I don't know how to ask the question well, but therein lies, yes, so I'm here for, thank you.
Okay, I think I hear the heart behind the question, and it's very genuine. So I think the good thing is that you were able to hire quickly. Once you had started, you hired in good time. For me, I stayed 10 years before I did my first hire. Yes, I did all the work. So that's why I'm telling you that I can read the legal contract. I will read it well. If you send it to a lawyer, you say, they've done this thing on it, now there's nothing. They'll even, the other party will tell you, your lawyer, Martin, your lawyer is very horrible. Your lawyer...
I like how he thinks he can, but it's okay.
Oh! Okay. You think I'm marketing myself? I'm telling you, and I'm ashamed I'm doing that. I'm ashamed, right? So what I do when I can't trust my work to my hires because they are not skilled enough to deliver, I operate the Martin principle. I can't pay you to do what I can do. You must be smarter than me to work in my company. That's the criteria. I must be the most stupid person. I'm paying money for my stupidity, are you? You can't. So if you're not smarter than me, you can't work with me. So when you come, I'll ask you, so what do we do? You say, sir, tell me what to do. You are fine. That thing is, you don't pack your load. I don't waste time. You don't pack your load. No. No. I'm hiring you to tell me what to do. And I'm sure you've seen it from the way I talk. I'm very instant. Quick. Not, I have heuristics. So once it's nonsense, out. It good, in. Quick. So these days, I don't have staff. I have ad hoc staff. It's the project that pays. So if I get a project that is, if I get a project and the client says, what's the project going to be? I need a lawyer. I'll hire Mojo. Mojo, how much is your fee? It's 12 million. Okay, we've negotiated. I can do 10. Then Jeffrey, design, how much? You say, it's 30 million. I will do 20. We agree. That client is going to get 50 million. So I've added their, and I'm not going to be closing my eyes. I'll say, hey, Jeffrey, so tell me, this is how I give my team right to lead. There can be one leader. It can be me, it can be you. It's who has superiority of ideas. So if I tell you, Jeffrey, why is this speaker here? You say, oh, Martin, because auditorily it's good. It just hits the room this way. It does. As you explain, I say, hey, it gets sense. Okay. If tomorrow you bring the speaker, I say, it's Jeffrey, it gets sense. But if I tell you why it's here, you say, that's where they used to put, oh yeah, give me who gets sense, I might jump. I'm like, no, I can't work with, I don't have the patience, sorry, I'm not ready. I don't have that gift, I'm still working on it. Once you can explain it, correct, I hired well. Once you don't, I say, mismatch.
Martins is not the one to build talents.
Right. So you've gotten your answer from him, right?
I think for me, Martins has the idea of paying people to do what you cannot do. But something I've learned recently is also paying people for the time you cannot give. So I have the skill. I'm hiring you not because I don't know what to do. It's because I don't have the time to sit down and be doing it. So there's that balance as well you want to put out there. So you don't just keep hiring people because they are smarter than you. Sometimes you should not do everything. Sometimes you hire people because your time is more valuable to do other things. It's part of structuring.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So thank you, Martin, right? Because this is actionable, this is useful in terms of, growing and scaling. But as a part of me, right, you spoke about how someone can study medicine, be a doctor, and be looking at fabric. I like building, right? I believe in, I know growth takes time, and I'm not one to easily just write things off. I might get irritated, I might get frustrated, but I don't write off immediately, right? So I would like to hear from you, Ikema. Maybe you can add some flavor to the mix.
Right. So, I would not. I'm not. My approach is not firing squad. Tell me what I want to hear, otherwise get out. No, my approach is not that. Really, I think that there are other indices to look at when hiring. But more than anything, I really agree that you should hire people that have a level of competence. So at least you want to be able to define what that level is. You want to be able to define what it is. Okay, if you are not, and then people that share in this vision. One of my favorite interview questions when I sit on interview boards is, if you are the owner of the company, what would you do in this particular, it's like a case-based question. And the answer of the candidate usually tells me if this person is, yes, is suitable for the, in most cases, is suitable for the organization. So you also want to look at those kind of talents, right? So that's in addition to having a benchmark for competency, should also, so that you're not, because it's frustrating when end of month is coming as a business leader, and then that you're paying this person, but you're not really getting the value from it. He pinches. Good. So you want to have a benchmark for level of competence and capacity of this person, and then so you're now looking at other things like, okay, is this person able to grow with it, is this person teachable, right? What value does this person bring other than just his assignment? So you're looking at all of those other things to be able to measure, not so yeah, that's just the balance that I would add, and it also doesn't stop you from, as a founder, that you have to be CEO and quote and unquote chief marketing officer of the brand, or chief brand officer. Doesn't mean that shouldn't necessarily stop you from building if that's your thing, right? But you should not now let it suffer because you like to build, right? Unless you have a lot of money to pay influencers, But in this day and time, and if you check in this day and time, you see that a lot of, I think that the way the business ecosystem is evolving, is that a lot of founders are now becoming the faces of their brands. So that's That's also something to,
Sorry.
right?
Board of director and management staff, and then they work for 30 years and they all retire with clock and then go home. Now, literally, the career age is really getting shorter. In a lifetime, somebody might pick up 5 different careers. Today, an influencer, tomorrow, you're a data analyst, tomorrow, you're an AI prompt engineer, like only you. So you're moving with the changing times. So this ad hoc thing is a bit of a challenge because at the end of the day, when I started the company, my intention was to build a company with a group of people who are visionary partners. You understand? We now journey, you understand, into getting to the New York Stock Exchange. You understand? We'll now ring bell and everybody say, guys, we've made it.
We're there for 30 years.
Yeah, we are still doing that one. AI is coming. You understand? So at the end of the day, you're not too sure how to navigate that. I remember there was a time some consultants pushed that we should have ad hoc staff. We should put people on projects. I struggled with it because my vision was carry these people on a journey. You understand? But honestly, there are times when our burn rate was so high that when we decided to put them on projects, I was relieved. But I find myself asking myself, where are the people on the journey? So, you understand? So I still have that New York Stock Exchange idea. What we don't know is whether there'll be stock exchange by the time we're ready to list, right? Whether it will just take up one day, it's AI, whatever. So Trump is talking about how AI is replacing jobs. Even in our school recently, we discovered that students are not signing up for courses because they are saying AI is already doing it. So I want to study it. So we didn't see it affect school. We just say, you guys keep learning and becoming. The other people, they're doing that. So, people are already talking about the fact that AI will definitely replace jobs, but AI will create jobs. Right? And the fundamental thing, Elon, the one time they asked him that if AI replaces all these million jobs, what are the rest of us going to be doing? Yeah, he said that everybody will be entitled to universal basic income. You'll just be earning for surviving. But, America also have an AI robotics strategy to compete with China. So Elon is talking about the Tesla factory in the next 2, 3, 4 years will be completely automated. No human touch. Everything will just be, so they won't be, Chinese labor cheap. I think this automation, they won't have labor at all. So they can now compete on that cost element. So I really want you guys to speak to this disruption and changing times. And what are you guys seeing and how can businesses or creative businesses position against the backdrop of the entire disruption?
I wanted to say something, but maybe after.
No, please, go first.
I am personally seeing the changing times in real time. I can't believe it. I saw somebody who created a system that can generate video. And now I'm now checking whether VO can do it. I'm actually about to sign up for VO because everything he was trying to do for the last 8 months, VO can do it. So that's what's happening. So I think that in terms of how do you run, and what all the startups are saying, by the way, YC and some of those people that we used to apply to and all of that, is all AI. And what is happening now is that everybody is expecting you to not hire. If you hear a company say that there are 20 staff and they've not yet hit $1 million, you don't want, that's not a good company anymore. Yes. The companies that are getting into YC are 3 people, 4 people. So the question now is, what is happening is, I think what's happened is that the standard of competence has risen. We don't know. But the idea that if you say you're a product designer, you better be a product designer. Because what's going to happen is that, somebody had a department in the UK, and the company told him, it's an agency, media agency, marketing agency, they just told him, sack everybody and then handle everything yourself. So there were 5. It's the product management and design team. He sacked everybody, and before he sacked everybody, he explained how AI can do their work. Yes. So once he showed that document, they now said, this is what we want you to implement. So he's now the only person in the department. So that's what's happening. That's why I just wanted to shed some light. So what's happening now is that I think what it requires from us, especially people who are trying to build with other people, is that I think you have to have a strong sense of what competence is. In Nigeria, we do too much of, the guy said he's a product manager. The guy said he can do it. The guy said he can do accounting. The meaning of I can do needs to, I think personally, we need to have our minimum standard. Like in Gradely now, we're going to a retreat next weekend, and the only thing, the major thing we're doing is to just say, what does it take to build a company like this? And then what are the skill sets available? Be humble, be honest.
Defend your job.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
I think that one of the things I like that you said, Boye, is that you just vindicated me because Mojoin was saying I'm cutthroat. And I'm like, AI is the one cutting through. Me, at least I hire people. But me, I hire for the project because it's short, right? Companies are hiring for the long run. I'm projectized. I don't have staff. It's the job that make so if you do risk management, but the project I'm doing doesn't need risk management at this point, you are not there. I can have another job, same time, another job that has risk management. So on project B, you're on that project because you do risk management. He does maybe say accounting. He can be in project C. He's in project A, right? And you can still be in project A too because they need you for that. But it's the job that is paying all of us. Once you finish, thank you for coming. So so I'm serving you in takeaway pack. Take, go. If there's another party, I call you, take, go. You don't need to sit down. There is no server. You pick your pack and you go. So, so the way I'm explaining my hiring system works for how I do it. Right? It doesn't have to be right for you. You have to look at how the system you're operating. If you use my system on, and this is where sometimes talks like this can get people into trouble. Because I can say, I do this in my marriage, and Ikemba does something different. And if I say, oh, Ikemba, that's a nice one, and I go home and I implement it, the culture there is different. You say, Martin, where is that coming from? I said, no, I'm just trying to be there since the Bible since when. What do you want? So just understand your system. Because another thing we don't look at is the culture must be able to absorb the structure. So I'll give a typical example today. I am cultured for A is A. I was walking past, I just passed the estate and I was walking on the walkway. And there was a lady staying on the walkway. Her butt was literally on the way. Her market was half on the walkway. So I couldn't walk past. So I waited. And she was like, she looked at me as if, don't you have sense to go and pass the road? And I'm like, this is the walkway, this is road. The matter no finish. The culture doesn't, she can't understand. I come here before you, so, pass. So you want, and this is what happens in companies. So when the culture doesn't absorb your new structure, there'll be friction. Too much friction. And when culture and structure fights, culture always wins. Yeah. In the long run, you will tire out. That's why I told you, man, I've had bites. I've had people bite me. Because as at then, I was the bad guy. Right? It's the same thing we do with our parents now. Oh, our parents were bad. Then you grow up and you say, they're not so bad after all. Oh. That time that you come and say, I need pencil. They say, pencil now. Good, let me see the pencil I bought for you. What date? You now know the, right? So it wasn't like they were totally bad. So I think we need to get the right cultures for, and then we must be adaptable. Jeffrey said something that affects all of us. There are things you love doing, right? So he still loves, the technical aspect of his business. How do you handle that? I think Jesus answered that question very well. He met his disciples fishing fish. He said, hey, you're still going to fish, oh. You're still going to fish, but you'll be fishers of men. What I want now, the way you strategize to catch fish, strategize for human beings. This is the new standard. Your job function has changed. And maybe also touched on that. He was made a team lead. The work when you are made a team lead, even within the organization, when you rise up, before it was, I'll do the work and I can do it. Now you are graded on how your team performs. If the team performs, they say, it was an idiot leading them, that's why. In fact, in NIT, we're supposed to do a test at some time, and our faculty said, let's shift the test. I said, why are you shifting the test anyhow? I've read now, we've shifted the test 3 times. They say, Martin, it's not everybody that is like you. These people say they are not ready. I said, but the test is dead. He said, Oga, let me tell you how it works here. If 80% fail, it's my sack letter. It means I'm an idiot. Yes, it's my sack letter. So you are teaching everybody to fail. In university, they'll say, you are a strong professor. Those people, they will sack you. So when you go higher up the rank, understand that you now have to carry a team. When you are now CEO and you love to technically design ways to meet the customer. It's the money. Because everybody that is there is waiting for salary. If you cannot bring the money again, I love the business, you will see how far the love goes. You will just see how far the love goes. And it's not this far. So understand, even me, I had to learn this thing. I like my space. As I am. I like his work, church, home, gym. I like my space. But man, you got to go out there. You just have to. I mean, it comes to Fedi naturally. I mean, these people is all about, and I'm like, please. But I have to do it. Martin, let's meet at the pub. I'm not a pub person. Huh? I have to learn it. I have to learn it. They say, Martin, what do you drink? I say malts. I have to learn it. Because that's where I win. I'm not the one doing the final work. Remember, my guys will deliver. But the work has to come. So understand that you will still fish. You still do fishing, but fishers of men. The work changes from time to time.
Thank you.
Changing times.
Yeah, I think that Martin spoke to that.
Yeah.
Spoke to adaptability. You are not so keen on. You're not so keen on the vehicle as much as you are on the journey, right? So as you are going, that's the goal, that's the end goal, that's the destination. When you're going to that destination and you see that you are going in a keke marwa, or you've gotten to a place where there's water now, right? And then, but you still have to make your destination. Then you change the vehicle. You change, and this vehicle now that you have changed now might not be able to carry 20 people or 30 people because it's a new environment, it's a new system. So it's adaptability, and adaptability speaks to structure, it speaks to culture, speaks to systems, speaks to processes, speaks to technology, So it speaks to all of these things that enables you, whatever it is that would enable you get to your vision. Yeah, you just have to adapt to it. So
All right.
That's what I'll add to that.
Thank you very much, everybody. I think at the end of this night, we can agree that, one, being a creative does not absolve you of the importance of structures or an architecture for your creativity. Also, at the end of this, we all agree that the world around us is changing, and we are not just designing structures out of culture. We are understanding the reality of where we are. And what we are called to do is to redefine or redesign culture. Things do not have to always be CEO, board of this. Things are changing, and you need to hold space. You need to hold space for the possibility that you need to redesign what currently is. As Bradley is doing, you are going to defend your work. Can AI do your work, or you need to become fishers of men as opposed to fishers of fishes? So yes, always have that at the back of your mind. What I'm doing, can a device do it? Do I need to upgrade my outlook? Am I ensuring that the structures are put in place are helping my company or my creativity grow, or I'm becoming redundant? I think that's very important. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a wonderful, thank you very much to our speakers.
Sorry, Mojo, just before we leave, I want to say, for those of us, we've heard AI is going to replace you. I mean, there's this scaremongering about AI replacing you. Let me use this just for illustrative purposes. So, assuming this was still full, what will be inside? Water. If I start to boil it, and it boils for like 30 minutes, what will be inside? There'll be water, there'll be air, there'll be steam. So it's never going to be empty. So we have what I call decreation. There's a destruction but a creation on one side, right? AI would clear some basic things, but to leave other areas that it cannot touch for human beings to now feel. So what will happen is, like water in a vessel, if I tilt it this way, some water have left this side to this side, but there's now space here, right? So AI is not just going to do no, it's not going to do that. As it's destroying in one place, it will be creating, as they say, matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It is only transformed from one form to another. So understand that our work will change in form, and be open to that, especially for those of us who run organizations, because, I mean, one of the things that we open businesses, I don't want to say yes, sir. I said more yes, sir in my lifetime. That was a fluke. I said more yes, sir in my lifetime when I became a business owner. I'll see people who are younger than my youngest brother, and I'll say, sir, because I need to get the money, and my guys need to get paid, right? So all those assumptions will be tested, and they'll change.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Please, I want us to, can we hold our hands? Please, just, let's pray. Let's hold our hands. It's so powerful. No, you guys can sit. I don't necessarily think it's a stand. I don't think it's a stand. I just wanted to pray for the person you're holding their hands. And this evening we've interacted, we've pushed in. We're talking about creating structure, changing times. What I'm praying and what I want you to pray for is for clarity for the person you're holding. Somehow people know what to do and sometimes they don't do it. So the strength to do is released. Sometimes people don't know what to do, they need clarity. That grace for clarity is released. Sometimes people have come to the end of themselves and they need partnership. Today, with the path to find that person that can become your plug-in and help you scale is released. Sometimes you want to have a team, but you don't know how to work in a team. You struggle with limitation on your personality. Today, the grace to abide and to collaborate is released. For us, God has called us to steward and to build. We consider innovation as part of the kingdom work, to be able to create for human flourishing. Today, I speak life to your careers. I speak success to your businesses. See, there will be no business here that will be on life support. There will be no career here that will be on life support. Today, the grace that refreshes and renew and revive is released. Father, we've come into the bloom and blossom years. Our careers and our businesses will flourish. There will be more than enough clients. The clients will multiply from the east to the west, from the north to the south. They will come, they will call, they will pay across all denominations, across all currencies. You will find them. Father, we thank you because the best of the earth will be attracted to you. Today, guys, you have more than, and we establish that by virtue of this evening, we commission ourselves again and we remind ourselves again of the covenant of success we carry, that the blessings of Abraham have become ours. And we are not called to just exist, but to make an impact. Ours is not just to build and be another roadside, but to become a beacon of hope that will speak hope and life to generations. In Jesus' name we pray. So guys, here is something that I've been chewing on, right? If you have paid attention, in the last base meeting, we had a bit of, I think either the last base meeting or the meeting before, I was talking about how I'm enjoying the universal principles in science. Science has so many amazing things. And there's a way that religion shuts your mind against science. And then scientists don't want to listen to anything faith. They say, like, no, it's for the faint-hearted. Right? Guys, there's so much here. So this is something that one of the things I'm planning to launch in the next month or two. I'm trying to create some to my mind that, guys, maybe forgive me if I don't know if I should say the word. Right? But I'm creating something that feels like a business community that will be very intentional about kingdom. So the way that I'm thinking about it, one day I sat and asked myself, why is it that people will go and join Illuminati in America? Why would they join? They want success. They need influence. So if anybody here wants to scale, where is the place you go? We don't know. So can we now build something that is built on the principles of the kingdom? You understand? But to give people, so those people, those clubs, when you join their lodge, you cannot give your word and break it. No, here people, they say, they come, then they go. You understand? You cannot give your word and break it. So just the mere fact that, and then you see this concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are because I am. Yeah. Guys, that concept, it talks about that if Ikemba has a business and Jeffrey have a business, I have a business. It means that I am committed to urban effects as I am to magic carpet or Imaginarium. You understand? And that at any point in time, any time I see an opportunity that is his, I must locate it for him. That's how we get ahead. Yes. And it's long overdue. We were never designed to exist in isolation. You understand? This idea of struggling alone, let's change it. See here, he says one will put a flight, 1,000. Two, put 10,000. There's a geometric impact. You understand? But the club is paid. It's not church. Tribe is here. You have to pay. Like, you know, there's a sense that when you attend those things, you have to know that you're committed to your growth. Chinedu was telling me that his company gave him whether 250K and say, find club, join, grow your social network. He couldn't find. He now came to me to recommend. I was trying to get BBN. They said, oh, it's too young, it's too young. Yeah. They didn't allow that year. You understand? So at the end of the day, even Isaac Drotoye, I tried to, I made, he said he wanted to join PBN. I don't know if he has joined now. But my point is that they're clubs. But guess what? 3 principles here is that it's almost as important to back yourself. You understand? If Mojo them they are doing something, we're doing something. You understand? You are committed. So we must bring that principle. That's kingdom. The only reason why we are going that route is because the kingdom has lost its meaning. So people don't even know what it means to be kingdom. They say they were sharing, that the way was it that somebody would bring where they were sharing it across board. See, what I'm trying to do is that if I have a mentor, he has a mentor. You understand? If Martin knows something, I know something. You are going to curate and share knowledge. You're going to crowdsource wisdom. You're going to crowdsource innovation. Every principle that needs to come. And guess what? If you're 1,000, you take Lagos. All you need is people who are united and saying, I am committed. So guess what? In 1,000 members, if I know how to build a website, I know I have 10 members that can build my website. Think of Bernard doing a concert. And his ticket is 50K, and you don't buy. No, you have to buy. You have to buy. So there's a way that people are committed to that thing. Yes. And you guys, we are sleeping on this thing. People are joining Freemason. People are joining Illuminati. What are they looking for? They're looking for kingdom. You understand? And you that have the principle, you are sitting down here saying, Lord, oh, heaven. Nah, we're never meant to wait for heaven. We're meant to bring heaven on earth. The gospel that tells you to die and go to heaven is heresy. The greatest revelation was that heaven came in the person, that heaven has come. He said that kingdom come, that will be done. He said, on earth as in heaven. So God's intention is not that we're escaping earth, we're colonizing earth. It was never, see, everything that is wrong in this world is waiting on man. God has done what God can do. Everything is on us. And so I want to back it with integrity. So when you know that you're coming for that stuff, in 12 months, you know you're growing. If we take a course, abundance, read the book. Study it and apply it. I was talking to Jeffrey them yesterday. We only discovered, Martin, some HMO. If you're more than 70, they won't give you this thing. They've aged it down because people are too sick. So at the end of the day, you're in a country where people are really, really... So you 70 years old now is over time. It's not... If you're in that company... Anyway, just thinking about it now. I don't know how they saw their data. Maybe those 70s were paying they'll pay like 50K and now sick like 1 million are sick. Yes, the health is, honestly, no, those men drank beer. So they drank a lot of beer. You know, Gen Zs are not drinking beer a lot. So those men they will eat suya. Yeah, all of them will eat. If you see their brokoto, they overwork their liver, smoked their kidneys. So right now, that 70s, they are just getting by. So HMO is trying to say, please, let's stop at 69. And companies and people are saying, please, if you have to be off plan. You understand? No, at the end of the day, if you even check our HMO said before, the things when they there, you only have to live by faith. The many things are not covered in your plans. Guess what? Some plan only malaria or typhoid. It's just malaria or typhoid, right? They're just there. No, you go just say, and God help those companies where you go just go subscribe, you will be saying a headache. You go just say for a letter, HMO available. You understand? Please ask yourself, please, what is available in this HMO? If you look at Parador Pensic,
We've gone to one HMO hospital where they told us, please don't use our drug. We're going to buy it for another place. Yeah, so one hospital said, but don't use this one. Doctor was like, yeah. The doctor was like, no, but at the end of the day, so there's so much going. So at the end, even the hospitals now, people have targets. You can just go say one check boil. They go recommend you to one ultrasound. That ultrasound, doctor get caught too. You understand? They go scan you, finish, say, no, the one we scan no good. Go scan your whole body. Boy, targets, you understand? All this pharmacy, you better be informed. Because you reach there and say, so I'm just having this boil. They say, you just be surprised when an only boy you can't enter there. They'll give you 4, say, this one, rubber. Tomorrow, apply this one. This one, you say 4 boils. Targets. But guys, I really am excited about what is to come because for the most part, even this podcast I started, half the people listening to it are not church people. I don't even know. You understand? But I'm realizing that one of them, I had a conversation with him. He's been so burnt by church. He kept telling me, you know what you guys are saying? I said, oh my God. In fact, he seemed a little too radical, but I think we can manage, right? But my point is there are people who are, when he said, I have sons that for which the world have not seen, I see them. I really think in this place, I see a Muslim sitting with a Christian and achieving things for God and for kingdom. Yes. You understand? Now, when Muslims come to church, we don't bring one rabbi 1 year. Those years when we were taking risk. We bring one rabbi, everybody fold leg. People come and say, Fedi, what do I do again? Wait till we don't turn Jew. You understand? You don't turn Jew. The rabbi was teaching the principle of, Jews are general. He spoke with some people were just overreacting. Say, the one day we'll go dead, a madman go call you. All right. So, but I really think we exist to solve problems. So that's what I'm trying to tell you about too. Because I really think it's something to carry. And, guys, you guys can't believe it. Sometimes I'll just go to look all these clubs. They'll just wear black, come. People say, hey, they're wearing black. It's a lie in a branding. But then they just say, let's make it exclusive. Everybody's like, they're exclusive. Brother, it's about the principle. Are you getting your community there? Are you growing? Are you backing your word? Can somebody put a good word for you and they know that they put a good word for you? Right? And you can defend the honor. Jeff, let's not start a service. We are closing.
Thank you so much, Pastor Fedi. And thank you, our panelists and our amazing hosts. Please let's put our hands together for them once more. And thank you, everyone, for coming, everyone that made the time. I honestly hope that you're able to take something. I think I was the only one that asked question, and I got something from my asking. But like Pastor Fedi said, there are tons of resources available here. In maybe alone is a wealth of wisdom. In Ikemba, just meet people and ask, what they are doing, be part of people's lives and get to know them just beyond the hello, hi. Opportunities are lying around everywhere, every day. And even answers to questions that you are struggling with are accessible. So please, let's build and let's build well. Right now, we've come to the close of today's program. We'll meet here again on Sunday morning, and we'll be resuming our Before We Love classes at 9 a.m. So if you are signed up or if you are part of the class, please be prompt so that we can finish just in time to kickstart the service. Before we go, we'll also give us the opportunity. If you'd like to give, please you can signify if you need an envelope or the account details, and it will be handed over to you. Isaac, please help me out. Just signify, and Isaac would give you an envelope. It also has the account details as well. That's pretty much it for now. See you guys bright and early Sunday morning. In the meantime, feel free to interact, have conversations. Thank you.